Welcome back to another episode of Frank's Unsolicited Advice. It's a new weekend, almost over. Getting ready to watch some good football. Hopefully, two good games this afternoon, this evening, and wanted to take time out to record my episode. Watched church this morning. Great message, and I felt like want to get on here and talk. Now I recorded an episode previously, and to be honest with you, I don't know where it went. I can't find it. So I had to start from scratch all over again. And I started talking about how this past week I was put as a chief in the spotlight in one of the articles, and they wrote about me. And the person that sent it to me, Jade, was like, "Oh, we got that all from your podcast," and it made me feel like, man, somebody listened. Because a lot of times we do this. Well, I know I do this, and I don't know how many people listen. I mean, there's analytics out there or whatever. Let's just say it's not a big following, because if it was, I probably wouldn't be in the Navy. So I would just go ahead and retire and do this full time. But whatever it is, some people's paying attention, and it made me feel good inside. It did. It made me feel like, man, they know me because of what I'm talking. That means my message is good. I'm getting what my point across. What I intended to do is actually happening. And then it got me thinking about the events coming up, right? And like I mentioned in previous podcasts, I have everybody has an expiration date, a shelf life in their job, what they do, and in life, period, right? And for me in the Navy, it's coming up soon. It's coming up September 21. If I do not promote to the next rank, I have to go home. I have reached the max years I can do in my pay grade in the military, and it's time for me to go home. And it got me thinking. I put my papers in. That was a big step, right? I was a little cautious, leery, but when I did it, I felt like this stress was gone. Thank you, Dee, for helping me out with that. She put it in for me. And I started to feel like, hey, you know what? It's okay. The next step is okay. And for a few reasons, and this is what I'm going to talk about. For one, it's okay to not know what's going to happen next, to have a cautious feeling of the unknown, right? And I say that because we don't know what's going to be next in our life. We just go with what we know, and that's, hey, do your job, save money, be well, eat right, do right by people, and things should happen good to you. And we hope that that's going to get us to the next step. So for me, and this is just me, okay, I joined the Navy in 97, the day after my 18th birthday. So September 15th, 1997, I joined the Navy. I left my house, my comfort, the Bronx, my 8-month-old daughter. I left everything behind and took this journey. Unknown. Was I weary? Was I a little cautious? Was I apprehensive? Yes, but I left. I get to boot camp, do boot camp, graduate boot camp, go to A school. Graduate A school, and now I'm getting orders to a ship in a different state that I've never been to. So I went from the Bronx to Illinois to Great Lakes, and then from Great Lakes to Pensacola, Florida. And the only reason I knew what Pensacola, Florida was because of Officer and a Gentleman. And then from, Great Lakes, Pensacola, and then from Pensacola, I'm going to Newport News, Virginia, which I've never been to. I've heard of Virginia, never been to Newport News, Virginia. So all those are unknown. And one of the fears, and not fears as in scared, but getting to a new spot, a new place, not knowing anyone, starting over again. Since I turned 18, I left. I lived in Great Lakes for 8 weeks, and I lived in Pensacola for a few months, and now I'm going to Virginia for the next 3 or 4 years. And I'm going alone, right? I don't have my parents. I don't have my daughter. I don't have my friends that I grew up with. I don't have my girlfriend with me at the time. I'm alone. So it's the fear of the unknown, right? And I still did it, though. And I got here. And was I a little weary? I drove up from Pensacola, my first time driving alone. I drove up. And back then, we didn't have a GPS. We didn't have no TomToms, no cell phones. It was MapQuest or whatever was out, or map, and you followed the map. So I got here, a little nervous, checked in. Things took off, right? And what happened next? I got to transfer again, go to a new place. But by then, you transfer one, you transfer twice, you start getting used to it. So now, since 1997, this is all I know. This is all I know. Okay? This is, without a doubt, I go to bed, I wake up, and I know, and I sleep good at nighttime because I know I have a career. I have a job. I have a for sure paycheck, first and 15 for the month. To now, after 24 years, possibly going home, and I'm like, man, what am I going to do next? I'm a father. I was a father when I joined. Now I have 3 kids total. I'm a husband. I have a wife. I have a home. And as a man, I got to think, well, okay, I'm going to get a pension. Hopefully I get 100% disability. But guess what? What else? Okay, I still got to provide. I got to make sure we're good. So that unknown takes over and you start getting very cautious. You start questioning, man, is this the right move? But I don't have a choice. Everybody has a shelf life, expiration date, right? So I put the paperwork in with the help of D. And once I put those papers in, the weight was lifted. That fear was gone because now I know it's for sure it's coming. And you're probably saying, well, Frank, how's the fear gone and you haven't got there? Because now I can prepare. And regardless if I make senior chief or not, I still need to prepare because that end date is coming regardless. Whether it's 2021 or 2023, it's coming. So I feel that sometimes that fear stops us from taking that next step. Right? So we covered unknown. Now I'm covering that next step, the next step. And the next step is to realize you're going to be okay. It's to be okay in the decision you made. And know that if you ever question whether you made an impact or you touched somebody, people do things and say things at times that remind you that you had an impact or you made your words or your presence made a change or made an impact in theirs. That help with that unknown, that help you move forward. Because now you know that, for one, you've imparted something into somebody that's going to use it in their future, hopefully. And 2, that if you would live fine in one chapter of your life, you're going to do fine in the other. Right? And then what happened was, and what I started realizing is that I started thinking more about myself once I put that paperwork in. And the only reason I put it in so early is because I was told to. My detailer said, hey, you need to put it in because you got to prepare. You got to take care of yourself. This is a man I never met. He's like, you need to take care of yourself and prepare for you to retire. So put your paperwork in. If you promote, great. If not, don't worry about it. So I did, and I feel great about it. I'm not worried about it. I'm actually looking forward to it. A part of me is ready to go, I think, and I just didn't face it. And I was scared to face it because I didn't know what else was next. I was scared. I was like, man, this is all I know. I'm a structured person. I don't take chances like that. I really don't. I'm very cautious. That I don't make moves. I don't take that next step unless I know I'm gonna be okay. And that's wrong too to think, because as a Christian, I shouldn't be that way. I should be able to take this next step in faith, knowing that I'm gonna be okay. Because no matter what, I believe in a higher power. So it's taught me a few things, and that's one of them. The reason I mentioned the article in the beginning is because, you know what, you're probably thinking, anybody knows the Navy is like, oh, Frank, come on, they just chose you. They had to pick a chief, so they could have picked. And you're right, they had to. They had to. They could have picked anybody. But the fact that I was one of the chiefs they picked out of whatever 100 people we have or more made me feel some kind of way. And the fact that, they listened to my podcast to get the information made me feel like, it mattered. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you, Jade and Amber and Susie and Dee and Louie and who else? Maggie, the all 18 of you guys, Tone, for doing it. But I'm here to say, man, that at the end of the day, we shouldn't be scared of what we don't know. We should just embrace it and hope that we prepared enough to go into that next step, that next chapter in our life, and be okay. People say if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. And that's so true. If I've been doing what I need to do to be ready my whole time to stay ready in the Navy, I wouldn't have to be ready when I go to retire. So this is to all my friends out there and family and listeners that, hey, if you're ready to embark in another part of your life and you just don't know, and that fear is stopping you from taking that next step, don't. Take that next step on faith. Take that next step on belief that you're going to be okay, that no matter what, you've survived many different things to get you where you're at, and just take it. Take that next step. Don't let the fear of the unknown stop you from being who you're supposed to be. It might not be the orthodox thing to do. I mean, some people, like these kids that go to school for 4 years and get a degree in X, but they really love Y, and they scared to take that step because everybody's like, well, you went to school for this, you should stick to it. No. Do what makes you happy. And don't be scared to take that next step. We all have every job you do has expiration life. Hell, and if you want to get deeper, we all gonna die eventually. We shouldn't be scared of death. We should live our life, enjoy our life, and know that there's an afterlife. And whatever your belief is, don't be scared of it. And that's the same thing with your job. For me, retiring from the Navy, and I'll be honest, a part of me says, I think come September, I'm going home regardless. I want to be home with my kids, even though they're older. I want to start doing different things. People say, well, Frank, why would you get out if you could do 2 more years, if you promote? Because that's 2 more years I could have been putting into something different. I done gave the Navy 24 years come September. How much more time I got to give? So that was on my mind. That's what I wanted to talk about. So the message at the end of the day is don't fear the unknown. Because at the end of the day, if you've done everything right to be prepared, you're going to be prepared. And a lot of us take a lot of steps that we don't even know that we're taking them without knowing what we're getting ourselves into, what we're just doing. So don't fear the unknown. Everything's always going to be okay. And always look forward to the next chapter in your life. Again, thank you for listening to Frank's Unsolicited Advice.